Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Trash Talk. I'm here with a very, very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm GivenAnt. How are you all doing? Hi, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. How have you been?
I'm wonderful. I am wonderful. I'm a little tired. I got sick recently, so I'm still recovering. So
Oh, I
hear me
feel you, man.
see me dying of coughing. It's because I'm still recovering from it. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I mean, the beginning of the week, I was coughing, where I was bedridden. Oh, I was finished. It was
Oh,
awful.
yeah, I haven't had sleep in the last night because I kept coughing. Like I sounded
Yeah,
like I was dying. It was bad.
yeah. No, I feel it, man. I've been struggling through all the ImAllexx stuff while having like an awful cough. Struggling to breathe. It's
Uh-huh.
been great.
Oh yeah.
It's been fucking incredible. Um, and like we're not joined by the co-host Ace Heller today. He
Ah.
decided, right? I'm gonna name and shame him, right? He's currently in another VC, right? I went in there, right? I was like, okay, so like,
Ah.
if you're not too busy, right? Like, do you mind like just coming to the stream? I like the fucking podcast. You don't have to say too much, right?
Ace.
Just thing. He was like, yeah, but like I don't know, giving out that well. He's not my homie. He ain't my homie. I'm not gonna turn up. I'm
Ah.
going to bed. I'm going to bed. If you've got
Ace.
Symphony Echo on there, I'll come on. I was like, okay. Well, you're a co-host, mate. Like, you can rock up. Like, that's your whole job. And he's like, no, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. I checked the VC. He's still in there. He's still in this fucking
Oh,
VC.
he's
So,
hot.
he
He's
sold out Trash
red-handed.
Talk. He sold out me. He sold out you. I think he's a fucking disgrace.
Ah,
Fucking
you need a
disgusting.
new co-host, and I'll become your new co-host.
Yeah, yeah. Just get everyone in here.
We're kicking him to the sideline. This is my podcast now.
Yeah, replace an A with another A. Replace A seller with
Yeah.
an ant. But diving straight into it, I do want to start sort of chronologically. I like to start right at the beginning with the majority of my guests.
Yeah.
How did you get into doing YouTube and like social media just in general? Like, how did that come about? Was it a content creator you were
Uh-huh.
watching, or like, what inspired you to like get online and start doing like the style of content you do?
Uh-huh. So when I originally started, most of the time when I was growing up as like middle school, I was never on any social media because my parents didn't allow it.
Yeah,
They thought it was all evil and everything. So I didn't even have like Snapchat as every kid
yeah.
has now. But the kind of first time I started interacting with people online was during about 2019 when I was in high school. I had to make my Twitter account to follow my cross country team if we had
Hmm.
like cancellations and stuff. So I started doing that. So I made my Twitter account through that, and through that I kind of got involved with like the Fortnite community
Yeah.
and kind of gaming in general. I always watched YouTube. Like YouTube was like my bread and butter.
Hmm.
I watched things from the beginning of like when Five Nights at Freddy's started. Like I was there. The beginning of like when Fortnite. I was a big gaming guy
Yeah.
at the time, and then eventually I started watching some other commentators. Like Augie would appear on my feed. Mudahar, Willie showed up a couple times, and I always thought it was
Hmm.
really interesting, but I didn't really get involved. Only until like 2020, about 2020 is time when I started actually like on my Twitter, I started actually doing stuff related to commentary,
Yeah.
actually interacting with people and just kind of being in the chats of streams and stuff, which I never did before. Before I was used to interact with just people on with Fortnite. I mean, my first 100, 200 subs on Twitter were from Fortnite players and Fortnite
Hmm.
streamers and stuff like that. So, but I started interacting with a lot more commentary during 2022, and then around 2021 is when I actually kind of started to make commentary related kind of I guess content. So when I kind of do a Twitter Space show called
Hmm.
the Anthill,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
which was actually did pretty decently for a Twitter Space. I mean, we had Augie on one time. He
Hmm.
just joined randomly. Willie came in. That's how I met people like Lamp, um, and Badwick, and all those other smaller commentators. They were much smaller then, but I met them during that. And then one of my co-hosts, funny enough, was Emmy, who is the Craig Beckett victim. Um,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, she was buddy buddy with me. She told me about Craig Beckett before it came public, but yeah, she was a help. She was a part of that, and I even started kind of a small group on a on Twitter in a group chat called called TKC, which is like the Karma Crew. Um, and I would just added a bunch of people I interacted with in the commentary community in this group.
Hmm.
And that's how I really kind of grew the friendships that I had. That's kind of when I got into my first drama is when I became friends with a certain guy named Paradise. I don't know if you know who Paradise is and the lore
Vaguely, yeah,
behind
yeah.
him. Yeah, so I became buddies with this guy, and I loosely knew the allegations that were pushed against him, where he was 16 and a 13-year-old sent like a nude to him, and so as a response, he sent a nude back. Um, and uh, I defended him in terms of like I didn't see him as a pedophile.
Hmm.
I said what he said was I said what he did was stupid, and I still believe it was stupid. I still make fun of him. I don't even talk to him that much anymore, but every time I do it, I bring it up. I make fun of him for it. But I started getting a lot of arguments with RFC people like Spondile, Alex
Oh,
Skekmo,
oh God.
all of these guys. Every day I would be on Twitter arguing with these guys over the most pointless things. And I look back on it now and I just cringe. It was very dumb of me to do.
Hmm.
And it was just like my first drama in anything, so I didn't know how to handle it, and I defended Paradise way too much than I should have. And that was kind of my big thing. That's how like a majority of people started knowing me as the Paradise Defender. I mean, I remember one time I called into Doc on the radio show, and like Doc and all those guys were called. Oh yeah, this is the Paradise Defender. He all constantly argues with Spondyle. That's what they knew me by. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't really like that. I was known by that. So that's kind of that started with that, and then it got to a point to where I had so many RFC spurgs and just followers and people up my
Hmm.
ass all the time, where Augie had to get involved.
Oh my
Apparently,
God.
in a group chat, he told some people to chill out because it's like this is getting pointless. That's what a couple of my friends told me who were also in the group chat, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Geez, that's." So it kind of
Well,
showed
yeah.
how it was getting kind of insane. But yeah, that was all like 2022 to 2021 time, but that was like big, yeah. Ugh.
Well, yeah. Well, like you've got a pretty interesting like beginning and like journey, right? Where
Mhm.
like you said, right, you didn't really have like social media and stuff when you were younger, right? Which is like
No.
way different to like the majority of how these like other new commentators have
Yeah,
sort of got into
yeah.
it, right? They've watched Leafy and Pyro and like
Mhm.
ImAllexx even when they were younger, right? And they've been inspired to make content and they've gone on to make commentary content, gaming content, and then transition, right?
Right.
Wait, that happened for you a lot later on, but in quite maybe a similar vein, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting as well, like the fact that like I feel like you're part of like that live streaming like subsection
Yeah.
of commentary, right?
Yeah.
And how that's really present early on and by the content creators you watched, and how that sort of
Mhm.
like, influenced what you did later on, right?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people will watch like the top commentators, right, like Leafy or whoever, and the majority of them, so like you got people like Optimus or whatever that watched them when they were younger.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
where you were inspired by people like Augie RFC, and then you got involved in all that stuff, and now you do the live streams of your own and stuff,
Yeah.
your Twitter Spaces. Um, I've got to ask, right, because
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you want to get into this, but I
Go
know
ahead.
that your job,
Oh,
like
yeah.
for people that like don't know what your job is, would you just like to say real quick?
Yeah, I'm a firefighter.
How does that affect what you do online, right? Because of course, being a firefighter, a really busy schedule, unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
It's very intense. How does that affect the stuff you do online to like a consistent standard?
In terms of like scheduling, I mean, the thing with a firefighting schedule, it's not consistent. Every
Yeah.
week it's like I could be working uh these 3 days, and then next week I could be working the opposite of that. So sometimes it's very frustrating how unpredictable it is. So when I want to stream like the Anthill show on my YouTube now,
Hmm.
I just kind of have to figure out like the best time for me, because then I also have stuff that I have to do at home. I have a lot of things going on also, so it's like it's a gamble trying to squeeze time in. That's why people always make fun of me because I always cancel when I say, yeah, I'm going to do it then, and then I cancel it later, and then I move it on to move something else because I'm always
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
busy guy. But and then when it comes to like, um, I mean, I guess I always like look at things with more empathy than most people do.
Hmm.
Just because I see kind of like people at their worst a lot. Not only just like, obviously with like fires and stuff, but I like medical calls. Like
Hmm.
when I see a family member just died in front of them.
Yeah.
I see them panicking, and it just makes me like when I sit down and I'm talking about the ImAllexx stuff. You know, I can look at that in a different light. I feel like than other people can. But it like I guess it makes me more sympathetic because what a lot of people's told me is a lot of people like tuning into my streams and watching my videos is just because I just seem like a regular down to earth guy just reacting to the nonsense of the internet.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, and I was like, that's what kind of what I'm going for, and I like that. But yeah,
Well, like it gives you like you said, like a pretty unique perspective on like a lot of stuff, and it also
yeah, it
makes you
does.
take things less seriously as well, right? Because if you've seen
Mhm.
someone who's like been burned or whatever, you've been going into like these really high incident
Yeah,
situations. You've seen people that like had their lives destroyed and whatever, and then you've come online and you see someone like Mr. Sen, AJ, right? You're as like less likely to get involved properly or find
yeah,
it as like interesting or find it as serious because you've seen something 10 times worse, right? Just day to day in your day to day
yeah.
job, you've seen something 10 times serious, and I think you can really see that with the AJ stuff, right? You didn't really get involved. You
Oh
were just
yeah.
laughing at everybody, right? You
Uh-huh.
didn't take it seriously, and why would
No,
you,
I did
right?
not.
Like it's
No.
pretty funny. Um,
Hmm.
and like for you, how is it like dealing with those situations and stuff? Like because of course that's your off time, right, from a pretty busy job.
Hmm.
Like, do you enjoy doing that on your off time?
I do. I enjoy just talking about things. Like
Yeah.
I like talking about giving my opinion on things. I just have a problem with I have to have something I like to talk about,
Hmm.
and sometimes the small spur dramas that happen I don't care about, and it's been something that some of my AWT co-hosts have been telling me. Um, is how a lot of time I don't engage on like small spurg stuff with like AJ, for example. I didn't really involve. I just kind of giggled at it because it was really
Hmm.
dumb.
Yeah, yeah,
But it was just like I was just and because I don't care about smaller things like idiot number one and number two are doing something dumb that I was like I suspected. I mean, I just like I have better things to talk about, and I think that, like you said, it kind of is from the job because I've seen and heard worse things from people, and it's just like I would rather talk about those worse things than what this idiot number five is doing over here. I mean,
Well, yeah. Well, like it puts it into perspective, right? Because a lot of people, especially within commentary and stuff, they take like a lot of these situations as almost life or death, right? Like
oh
this, like
yeah,
Spurg drama is like, oh, this is the most serious thing that's ever happened on the platform, just in life in general. Where you don't really have that outlook, right? Because you've seen something that is life or death, right? You don't really
hmm,
like it doesn't really matter to you, right? Because this is so like small in comparison to the stuff that you deal with on a day to day. Where a lot of these commentators that deal with this sort of stuff, that's the majority of their life, right? Either they
yeah,
get back from school, they do this, or they get back from like a regular like 9 to 5, which is nothing wrong with that, by the way. And they
yeah,
come home and whatever, and they do that, and that seems like the most significant and important thing ever. Where for you, it's something that it's funny to listen to rather than an actual thing to take seriously. But I think
yeah.
the one time where that maybe changed a little bit was the Mr. Sin stuff. Like
Oh
happened pretty
yeah,
recently. For people that don't know what happened with like you, Mr. Sen, and like that whole side,
yeah.
would you like to just quickly go through it?
Yeah, so like my relationship with Mr. Sen, like about a year ago, we kind of first started interacting when me and another friend who I'm not friends with anymore, Django J, kind of made fun of him. Or we're talking like just in general about him on a public thread, and
Hmm.
we talked about, and I mentioned he got mentioned somehow, and then he I remember I said that I was like, well, not a lot of bigger commentators respect Mr. Sen. It was very simple. And he took that and he was like, oh, you guys are gossiping about me, this, and this, and started freaking out. And I was like generally confused. I was like, what's going on? Eventually, he came onto my stream and we talked it out, and it seemed like just a simple misunderstanding. And we both move on. I never thought about it again. Nothing more.
Hmm.
Basically, a year later, um, the stuff with lyrics being doxxed by
Austin
Austin
No
No
Powers.
Powers,
Yeah.
yeah, Austin No Powers, and then Lyric and Mr. Sen asking for it. I called him dumb. That's all I said about it. I wasn't gonna get any deep into it. I just called him dumb. Then, then I get sent a clip from Slugs and Huggy Bear's stream of him ranting about me on how he wanted to fight me how he wanted to beat me up, how I am this, like, how I have no morals, how I am a hypocrite for my stance on doxing because I didn't talk about the Salvo stuff and I didn't get mad when
Oh yeah,
Salvo got doxed and this and that. And I'm just sitting here and I was just like, bro, I called you dumb for a
yeah,
dumb
yeah,
decision and you're exploding like a baby. So I
yeah,
thought it was hilarious. And I was just, and he did it to not even just me. He did it to like, I believe he did it to you. He did it to
yep,
like so many other people. It's just like over little things. And it went on for a month. And it's once in a while, I get strays, I get clips and strays like people send me of just him making a stray at me. And I'm just like, dude, I haven't talked about you. I made one stream on him after this where I went off because I was a little bit heated because I thought it was a little, and I wanted to do it. I was kind of being animated just for the sake of content, but
hmm
like one stream, and then he was saying I made multiple streams on him with Skelly, and I was just, bro.
Well, like he had this like unnecessary hate burner towards you for no reason. Like he came across just very angry towards you for no
Yeah,
apparent reason. Like realistically, out of all the people that he was going against there, I don't know why he was most really angry at you
yeah.
when it didn't seem like you'd done that much in comparison to others, right?
Mm-hmm.
It like make the fighting comment, right, where it's like he would like actually like be able to do something against you in a fight, right? This like scrawny like Mr. Sen character versus a firefighter.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like for you, like how is that, right? Like because going back to like the perspective thing of like a firefighter, a really serious job to this is it
yeah.
must be so funny, right? Because you deal with like really serious things constantly, right? Like you've got to
Mm-hmm.
be like like in pretty good physical shape to be able to be a firefighter
Yeah,
or at least be
yeah,
stronger, right? You got to
yeah.
be strong to some capacity, and
Mhm.
then you come home and you see this like little internet kid trying to beef with you because you called him dumb. Like it must be like a bit weird, right? Because I feel like for most, like a lot of people would focus on like the latter, right? Would either get really offended or whatever. But
Yeah,
for you, it seems like because of your job as well, it sort of grounds you in a bit more like stability, where others
yeah.
maybe would spurg out.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's I think yeah, that's very also true. It's like I looked at that and I just saw it as entertainment and I thought it was funny. I was like, this could be good content to make out of my stream. And that's what I used it for. I think it's also like not only just my job, but it's just like I've been in Asperg dramas before and I just like
Hmm.
it didn't go anywhere. And I've been in the bad side of those Asperg dramas where I've been like dogpiled and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like I'm just like, why would I want to go through that again? So
Well, yeah.
it's just like I don't. That's why I pick what I want to actually get seriously involved in, because it's just either I don't care because it's something stupid. It's just like one conversation can fix it, and that's it. Like I had something something behind the scenes has been happening recently. That one conversation could have fixed something that a bunch of my other friends were like making a big deal, and I made one conversation and I fixed the problem. And I was like, why couldn't we just do that? And they were just because they were internet brained, but I was just like being realistic of what I would do in a human like real life situation.
Yeah.
Go talk to the person and work it out. I'm not gonna be like hissy about it. That's why I'm even with like Sen, I would be fine talking to him later. If he ever wanted to like work it out, I doubt he would because I really doubt he does because I still believe he still has that hate boner for me for some reason. But I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, no, no, I get it, man, because it is like a real difference, right? Because like you said, you've learned from like past actions, right? Like being dogpiled on, right?
Yeah.
Which like once you've been dogpiled on like enough, or like you've been through that enough, you slowly learn, right? You pick up things like
Mhm.
instead of like responding, you just mute the person, right? You ignore it, whatever, you move on because
Yeah.
really it's insignificant. Um, and like you build up stuff. But there is one thing, right? One situation that I do really want to talk about you with. And I don't know if you would maybe see this coming, but it is
Yeah.
the shower stuff. And
Yeah.
I gotta ask about it, man. I've got it.
Oh yeah.
It's too good not to ask about.
Oh,
For
yeah,
people
it's
that
funny.
for people that don't know what I'm like referencing, what is the shower stuff?
Okay, so there was a point when I was arguing with a bunch of. It was during the time when I was being a complete spurg. It was before I was really seriously in the firefighter stuff. But it was basically I was arguing with these guys named like Lakari and stuff, and
Hmm.
these trolls got to a point where they were accusing me of things. Even Spondal came to my defense. Out of everybody who's Spondal hated my guts, he came to my
Yeah.
defense against them. But we were there was a point where they just got tired because I started trolling them back
Hmm.
after I realized there's no point. and it got to, and they stopped trying to be serious about it, and they were like, okay, we're gonna troll and say that, oh, you didn't take a shower, you don't take showers. So I was thinking, I was like, oh, I could do like a Salvo type meme, because you know how Salvo did that, where he
Yeah,
would like
yeah,
record those type of like schizophrenic videos just being
yeah.
in. I was like, I thought so. I kind of spat out in a group chat with like a bunch of other like commentators and stuff, and some of them were like, yeah, you should totally do that because that would be funny. So I did it just out of meme. And then a lot of people found it funny, but some people took it seriously. And
Yeah.
so I took it down just because some people were taking it seriously, because some people thought I was actually like doing it as an own on the trolls, when I was just trolling them back just so I could get everyone a good laugh. And Augie took a screenshot of it and posted it on his Twitter of when like a really bad part of the video. I don't Where I was like leaned over and
Oh yeah, yeah.
it looked really bad. So once in a while I see that picture, and once in a while I just giggle. I was like, I was such an idiot. I don't know why I made that, but it like Postify reposted it recently. Every time I'm in like a call with like Dead Meme Frog or for whatever, he always brings it up and he always like makes jokes about it. And I mean, I open it. I mean, it was meant to be a joke, so why not joke about it? I mean, no reason to get butthurt about it. I don't really care.
Well, no, yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say, right? It sort of followed you about as like a little meme, like a little joke, and it's pretty funny, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that we'll probably follow you about. But like, I think it's like a good way to look at it, right? Is I'd rather that follow me than something really serious.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
at least I could say, like in that position, like the worst thing that's following me is a picture of me like in the shower,
Yeah.
like like for a Twitter video, like it wasn't too bad. You know what I mean, right? Like you got
Yeah,
something to
yeah,
laugh
yeah.
about
I
there.
get you. Hmm.
Um, and like I want to ask, right? Like, want to get guests on. I like to ask like about video creation and stuff, about live streams or whatever they do, right? And like how the
Yeah.
process is. And especially for you, I think this is going to be like a pretty interesting conversation. I want to ask like how the video creation process or live streaming process is for you because of your
Uh-huh.
job, right? Because like you said, it's pretty unpredictable. You have to reschedule stuff a lot. So how does like streaming and covering like daily stuff, right? Because like you cover like topics and other stuff on streams and you talk
Yeah.
about games or whatever, and you play a bit of Fortnite or whatever. But how do you stay on top of that with like a firefighter schedule, right? Like, how does that
Uh-huh.
come about, right? So, like, I know with the ImAllexx stuff recently,
Yeah.
you pushed back the stream recently. Like, I'm assuming was that due to like the fact you're ill or whatever?
Yeah,
Um,
a little bit of that, and then I have some stuff going on tomorrow,
mhm.
work related stuff, and
Yeah,
then I
exactly,
was like,
right.
so I'm trying to figure out like the best time to do it, but that I could actually just sit down for like 3
Mhm.
hours and just talk about something.
Well,
Um,
and is that something that happens quite a lot, I assume, right? Where like the schedule like must be like pretty hard to figure out with YouTube, right? Because of your job.
Yeah. Sometimes like people will call out sick and then they have something where they throw in overtime and it's like a free for all. If you're a firefighter, you can just go like grab it and you could try to, work. So
Hmm.
everyone tries to get that because it's free, it's more money. So sometimes that affects
Yeah.
it to where I was planning to stream that day, but I'm more focused on like I would rather work. I'll rather work instead.
Hmm.
Um, but there's that. Sometimes at work, when we're just sitting in the station, it's just, it's a very slow day, nothing really going on. I'll just whip up my computer and I'll just look up topics. I'll get things bookmarked. I'll go and write a Google Doc of just putting down things that I think that would be cool to talk about on stream.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll do like I sometimes one time I got bored and I just did research on how the algorithm works
Hmm.
and things like that. So every time I have free time, I try to do that. At the station, just so it's a lot easier when I come home. I could just basically boot up the PC, boot up Streamlabs, and just hit it, start, and just get going.
Well, yeah.
um,
Like, I guess because of that, right? Because like there isn't like a fire 24/7, right? There isn't a fire like every
no,
moment, right? Like
mm-mm.
you do get maybe like also like a bit more time as well, like in a weird way, right? You get like
Yeah.
moments to be able to do stuff. You might get a little bit longer to be able to do streams and stuff. Like, is it hard to juggle? Is that stressful, or have you managed to come up with a way that that's easy now?
Um, Sometimes, well, I would rather be busy than not be busy. So
Hmm.
I'm always just, it gets frustrating because there's some days where we don't have like a single call or anything.
Yeah.
We're just sitting around and we're not doing anything. Like or we're just doing maintenance around, with the fire trucks or fire engines. We're fixing like we're reloading hoses, or doing checkoffs or something like that, which is not the most fun thing in the world. But I mean, I just adapt to it. That's kind of one thing you have to be a firefighter. You just kind of have to adapt to your schedule. You got to
Hmm.
adapt to monkey wrenches being thrown. Once in a while, it can get stressful when you have you have to adapt your schedule like 5 times a day,
Yeah.
and it gets very frustrating. But that's part of the job. We just kind of have to adapt to what's going on, and I think that's like a big thing with firefighters is adapting.
Well, yeah, and like I guess as well, like paired with commentary, right, and like this type of commentary you do on stream and stuff, like that can be like pretty difficult, right? Because like the stuff you're covering are like maybe a brand new topic, right? Again, I'm gonna take ImAllexx for an example, right? Like
Mhm.
realistically, with the type of commentary that that you do and like on streams and stuff, you need to cover that pretty quickly, right? But like of course, with your
Yeah.
schedule and stuff, that's pretty unpredictable, right? Where maybe another commentator like Larix, right? If he's got like a college or
Yeah.
whatever he does and whatever, he can schedule that in really easily and he can cover that first or whatever because, he's got like that timetable that realistically, on an average day, that isn't going to go haywire. There isn't going to be like a wrench thrown into it or whatever. Where with you, it's unpredictable, right? Like I assume you miss out on quite like a lot of topics or
I do.
whatever, and
Yeah.
like streaming. Is that annoying for you, or would you much rather focus? And like I think I know your answer here, but would you much rather
Yeah.
focus on your in real life stuff like firefighting?
Well, while it is frustrating, like with the ImAllexx stuff, I wish today I was able to stream, or last night I
Yeah.
was able to stream about it, just so I can get it out, so I could be like one of the first videos being pushed in the algorithm when people search it, um, or cover it tomorrow or something. But sometimes I just look as like I have my RL stuff is more important to me. Like
Yeah.
firefighting is way more important to me. Uh, like not only just firefighting but just family stuff. Like if that comes up, I'm just gonna cancel whatever online stuff and just do it when I can. um will that hurt my channel? Sure. Yeah, it's not getting out at the fastest rate to where it can help my channel grow the
Hmm.
fastest, but it's just kind of how it has to be. I would rather focus on things that matter, like my
Well, yeah.
career.
Well, exactly, but like because you have to prioritize your personal life, right? And
Yeah.
especially when you've got like an actual career, right? Like something like firefighting, you always have to sort of prioritize that first, right? But like a lot of commentators, whatever, like it will either be a full-time thing, they have it on the side while they're in school, whatever, or they have it in the side when they're doing a job, right? But usually that job isn't as stressful, isn't as unpredictable, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of those commentators as well, they don't always prioritize their personal lives.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's where you see a lot of issues, right? I'm going to take Jalen for an example, right? I know Jalen's got
Oh
like a lot of
yeah.
mental health conditions as well, but like
Hmm.
there's someone that like self-admittedly hasn't taken priority of their personal life, right? Has focused on the
Right.
internet stuff way too much, and that like people have seen the effects there, and that's a pretty common thing, right? So like I think it's much better to be in a position where you take hold of your personal life and focus on that, focus on your career, focus on your family, than focusing on internet stuff, right? Because if that went down tomorrow, you'd be like, it'd be all gone, right? Where like
Yeah.
personal stuff, personal life, right? That's realistically the majority. That's always going to be there. That's something that you can build up on. And I think with commentary specifically, a lot of people don't really take that into consideration. I don't think that's something that really happens. I feel like people are way too focused on their topics, their videos and stuff, rather than their personal
Yep.
life.
Yes, I see that happen a lot. I mean, it happened recently with an AWT member that's not part of AWT, but with Echo Tragedy.
Yeah.
He was focusing. He had a lot of IRL stuff that he was hiding, or that not hiding, but he was kind of burying and putting, and he would rather put time and effort into just commentary related things and being on Twitter and being on Discord, and that was affecting him and how he did online stuff. And I just told him straight up, you just need to get offline and deal with it first. Deal with the important thing, yourself, and deal with IRL things first before anything online. Anything
Hmm.
online. Um, and I mean, while like if you're trying to build like a channel like I am or something like that, it's gonna stink. It's gonna stink that you are not gonna be the first to the story, but
Yeah.
sometimes you might be the first to the story. Like with the Wilbur Sut stuff, I was actually like one of the first videos and
Yeah.
streams to come out before we even knew it was Wilbur. I covered that, and I mean, I just uploaded a video a day ago, and it has that has been consistently getting has like 1,000 views just a day.
Hmm.
So things like that is just, I mean, you just kind of have to deal with it, and you just kind of have to. I mean, you kind of have to grow up. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
it's pretty simple. It's just like IRL and like human beings that you meet face to face are more important to me than that person I talk to on Discord. And that's just, I mean, that's just how I roll.
Well, yeah,
And
like you've got the priorities there, right? Like of stuff that you
yeah.
want to prioritize, the stuff that's actually important to you, right? And like you said about growing up, right? Because again, like a lot of people, like I think AJ is a great example, right?
Oh
Very
yeah.
childish, right? He's like what in his early 20s, but he acts like he's like
Hmm.
12, right? That's someone who's clearly never
Yeah.
grown up and he's sort of doing the same sort of behavior or whatever. And like there is like a pretty stark like contrast, right, between somebody who's like really like engrossed within commentary or whatever, hasn't really grown up, to where like from what you're saying, where like you've prioritized your personal life, you've prioritized your job, uh, and realistically, where like with all the online stuff, as much as you like doing it and you want to be the first to the topic, you've got to realize that isn't everything.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I see the online stuff as just entertainment and just a
yeah,
pastime to me. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be a big YouTuber. I'm never going to be a big streamer. I'm just doing it just because I enjoy talking about things. I enjoy
well, yeah,
uploading videos and editing videos and interacting with the boys at AWT. I mean,
mhm.
it's been great. I mean, especially with AWT. I mean, we've been getting more notoriety and people noticing us and bigger content creators noticing us recently. So it's just like I like things like that makes me happy. It's just like at the end of I even said this during my Sen that during when I was going off at Sen, I was like, I like because he was complaining about my numbers or he's like, I got bigger numbers. And I was like, dude, I don't care because I'm not
Hmm.
looking at this like I'm not like I don't care that you have bigger followers than me. Like at the end of the day, this is not going to be if this doesn't grow to be big, oh well. I got something bigger going
Yeah.
on in IRL stuff than that. That's why I don't really care as much as numbers as much other people do, just because it's just like, yeah, it would be nice to be like big, have a big, channel, but it's not a priority.
Well, yeah, like you said there, right? Like you're not really number driven in that sense, right? Like you don't really care, right? You do it for fun, you do it because you enjoy it,
Yeah.
and you like you've said that you don't like in yourself that really you're not going to be a big streamer, a big YouTuber. But on that, I do want to like sort of like just start to come to a conclusion of this episode. I do
Yeah.
want to ask, like what is your goals, right? Because you've said that you don't care about numbers or whatever, but is there a goal that like realistically in your head that you would like to reach? Or is it just all for like good fun vibes or whatever, and you're just happy with wherever you land?
I mean, of course, I would like to have a goal. I mean, I would like 1,000 would be nice. 1,000 followers
Yeah.
on YouTube would be sweet. I mean, I already have 1,000 followers on Twitter. But it would be. I mean, that would be nice. But I'll be happy wherever I land. I mean, if I quit YouTube and quit the commentary community at 300 followers, I'm fine with that. Yeah, it would have been nicer to be bigger, but I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh well.
Well, like I think that's a pretty good outlook, right? Because I feel like when people are number obsessed or have loads of goals or whatever, it is pretty depressing when you don't reach it, for example, right? I feel like it's way better
Hmm.
not to care about that sort of thing, right? Just go along
Yeah.
with it. If you have a video blow up, right, you're not gonna go, oh, well, fucking, I didn't want that, right? Like, oh, that's awful. It's gonna be something positive, but it's just a bonus at that point because you're just enjoying the things you do. Where I feel like a lot of people in commentary specifically as well are very number driven, like money driven. They do the things they do because of money, goals, numbers.
Hmm.
When they don't reach that, you see people getting a massive rut. Where I guess where
Yeah, they
if
do.
you don't have these massive goals and you're just doing it because you want to, and of course you want to have an audience, but like that isn't something that you really need, right, to feel like a sense of accomplishment.
No.
You must get like a lot more done in that sense. It must not
Yeah.
drag you down a lot because, like, I think a majority of people are guilty of it, right? Like I'm certainly guilty of being like a at times like number obsessed or whatever. Like definitely. Um, but like it's much better to be not as attached to that, right? Because like as soon as you get attached, it drags you down.
Yeah, it does. It does. I see it happen all the time, where people get way too stuck on the online sphere, and it just ruins not only their just like online self, but it just ruins them IRL and just destroys them, and it drives me nuts sometimes because it's just like at the end of the day, this online stuff doesn't matter. I mean, you could turn off your you can delete your channel, turn off your PC, and walk away, and none of it would matter.
Yeah,
And you can live your life and have a wonderful life, and still none of it would you wouldn't even think about it ever again. So
yeah.
it's just like
Uh,
it's a blip of your life.
well,
So
definitely.
especially with the
Uh,
small commentary to people,
yeah,
like you're even worse. I mean, bigger people I can maybe see because obviously if they have like a million followers, it makes more sense.
yeah,
But it's like if you have like 300, I mean, you're a blip on YouTube. You're literally a nobody. I'm a nobody. I mean,
yeah.
everyone at AVT, even the most biggest ones of us, like Leia and Flatley, like they're nobodies. They're blips. All right, like it's that's kind of just how I view it. I mean,
Well, was a good outlook to have, right? Because like
mhm.
with that, you like not only are you not like ego driven in that sense, right? You don't have a big ego, but like it isn't that serious, right? When you have that, right? You like any day you could walk away, right? You could turn off the computer, right? You delete your account or whatever, and you could walk away, right? There is nothing stopping
Yeah.
you, right? And there's very rarely a situation of like stuff online where it isn't like that, right? Like, of course, like excluding allegations and stuff that affects real world stuff, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Which is completely different, a completely different like
yeah.
kettle of
That's a whole
fish, right?
ballpark, different ballpark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right. But like on average, especially in small commentary, right? If like a 300 subscriber, like I don't know, like Dan, right, left, he decided to get up, right? He's deleted his channel. He can walk away, right? And
Yeah.
realistically, nothing's gonna happen, right? He can walk
Nothing.
away, he can leave whenever he
No.
likes. There is nothing like holding him there. Where like I don't know, I feel like people are way more super attached to it, right? In that
Yeah.
sense, like just
Which
so attached.
I guess for some people I will understand just because like it's something that they've made, something that they've been working on. And I
Yeah.
understand it's something you've been working on and you don't want to leave it after you put all that work into it. But at the end of the day you're going to, and you
Yeah.
just it's gonna happen. Because I mean, it's kind of like viewing this might be a really weird example, but it's kind of like a Minecraft world. You build a really nice Minecraft world, right? You
Hmm.
build all like a nice village. All right, you got all the machines. You're eventually gonna turn off Minecraft and leave it there.
Yeah.
Um, it might hurt you, but you're going to do it. So it's
Yeah,
kind
definitely.
of, I mean, that's kind of just yeah. I mean that's all I pretty much got to say about that. But yeah.
Well, no, I completely get it, right? Like, I know in myself as well, right? That like now I hit my goal of 100,000 subscribers on my shorts channel, right? I've got a play button, right? Realistically, right? As much as I love doing what I do, right? I'd definitely be devastated if I lost the stuff I've got. Like, I know that I've hit the goal that I've wanted to. I've got something to show for it, and that I'm pretty happy to walk away. But like,
Yeah.
very much more happy to do so. I don't want to, but like, I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's where people need to be, right? Is that like realistically, right? Like they might love doing it, but they need to be in a space where realistically, if they have to, they can walk away.
Hmm.
But a lot of people aren't in that mindset where they're able to walk away when they really need to, take a break or leave permanently or whatever for whatever reason. A lot of people, and I think it's way more true in commentary more than really any other genre, they just can't walk away for whatever reason.
Yeah. No, like
Um,
it's just attachment. They're
yeah,
attached to this. I mean, this is their life. This is their world. I
yeah.
mean, and I mean, I'm just to people. I mean, people who are listening, don't make that happen. Don't make this your world. I mean, make your IRL life your world, because you can get away from this. You can't get away from your IRL life.
Well, exactly, and that's where
So
spokes come from, and that's where
yeah.
like these really spokey people come from is because they're so attached to their online stuff that really they don't have a personal life, they don't have personal experiences, they haven't built up their connection where they really know any sense of responsibility or anything like that, and that's where you get all these spurg outs and people that are really self-entitled or ego-driven.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
yeah. And yeah, like I feel like this episode we're really focused on like an actual social life, really, right? Like the, the
Yeah.
the difference between like commentary and like doing all this online stuff and actually having like a functioning social life,
Uh
uh,
huh.
which for Trash Talk isn't something we've really focused on because again, like as much as I've like enjoyed speaking to all these other guests and stuff, I haven't really had a guest where they're like life doesn't revolve around their online like stuff. If it's
Uh
their
huh.
job, if it's their like big like main focus of a hobby, you're probably the first person I've had that's pretty vocal about their job as well online and whatever,
Yeah.
and that has that really like prominent like social life and has that prominent
Uh-huh.
personal life. So it's been a pretty interesting conversation.
Yeah, I think it was very interesting. I think talking to you, it's made me realize some things about it too. So I think
I appreciate it.
yeah, it was a good conversation. I definitely enjoyed it.
Well,
Of
yeah, man. And I appreciate you coming on Trash Talk. And thank you, everybody, for watching today's
course.
episode of Trash Talk. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. But it's been your
Mhm.
host, Samuel, and I will catch you in the next episode of Trash Talk.
Bye.